Welcome back to Lost Odyssey. So yeah, let's actually go off on our journey proper. Gotta go fast.
And Jensen is like, I can't wait to get going.
How does he not bump into anything?
He does actually. It's just that
I say that and he bumps into something.
He's too cool for that, Wibbs.
I mean, I guess there has to be some advantages to being immortal.
Of course.
Okay. Alright.
So where is our transport?
Through here, if I remember correctly. There you
I
go.
mean, somewhere in this big, grand Disney wonderland of a city.
Mm-hmm. This is the primary big city where most of the plot points happen. Not even necessarily because of anything particular, it just happens to be the city where our protagonist is at right now.
Imagine if this is where the big climax will occur too, when the city is in ruins of a great battle of epic proportions.
Wouldn't be the first time.
True. Bookends and all that.
Alright.
You know, when you get down to it, I guess technically you consider that to be the case with Final Fantasy VII if you consider, like, you know, the original to start and then Advent Children to be the proper conclusion with Sephiroth.
Well, chronologically, it technically is. Square Enix still considers everything in the compilation canon, right? So.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, we do have some games that take place after Advent.
Yeah, there's a
Children,
server
though.
also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hence why I was stuck in
The Great
specifically
Gate
the
of Uhra.
Sephiroth stuff.
And Seth is impatiently waiting for Jensen.
Why aren't we leaving? We should have already been gone by now.
Patience is a virtue, child.
Oh yeah, well, or rather I should say Kaim is, because Seth
I
wasn't...
was facepalm.
Seth wasn't briefed on Jensen. I forgot about this, yeah.
Oh boy, I can only imagine how these two personalities will bounce off of each other.
Make it free.
Well, I'm talking specifically about...
Jensen!
Okay. Whoa, he's quite a ladies' man.
I thought wizards were supposed to be
This
dweebs.
is the other guy?
Oh, that's a Gandalf.
I can't believe I love
He reeks of booze.
Why are you late?
Can't you tell? A man's gotta do certain things before leaving on a mission like this.
What
I know
was
I had to do.
Sakaguchi thinking with this character, and can I shake his hand for it?
Comic relief.
Well, yeah, obviously, but...
Well, remember,
This is a-
no, okay, from a writing perspective, I can tell you. Both Seth and Kaim are immortal beings who have lived for a long time, which means, of course, they're quite different than your average person. Whereas Jensen is a character that his persona and his overall behavior is much more akin to a normal human being. So he's here to serve as kind of, not to mention a lot of exposition, he asks a lot of questions about to them whenever necessary. So he also serves as the audience's proxy in a lot of ways.
Like we would wait for you, you worthless drunk.
But yeah, like I was saying, I'm looking forward to seeing how Jensen bounces off with Seth, because Seth already
You're
seemed,
free to go.
well,
Thanks
seemed
for bringing
being
him to
the
us.
key term, but still seemed to be like,
Of course.
You're such a doll.
gold diggers.
Time, honey. Hey, don't touch me. Get out.
They would willingly hit on just anyone for some coin, it seems.
Bye, girls. Don't cry. I'll be back. Don't worry. Okay. Bye.
Well,
To a great start.
Just what we need. More useless baggage.
Hey, that's not nice. I ain't gonna come in real handy. You know, you can count on it. Oh,
sure he
Who's
will
counting on
somehow.
what?
man, you are so angry. What is your problem? Hey, you ready?
Yeah, Kami's like, well, fuck my life. Huh?
Clearly, you're too
Can I go
selfish
back
for
to
this.
to
Alright,
suffer?
so mortals like Jensen learn new skills by raising their level, but immortals don't acquire new skills by leveling up.
Oh, there's unique leveling.
So you're-
Yeah,
systems,
the
and Jensen will be
immortals act in a
playable.
more parasitic kind of way.
Immortals can learn skills from mortal using skill link. Configure skill link from the skill menu. So basically, as you learn skills with the mortal characters, the immortals learn them as well. By selecting immortal, all the skills learned will be displayed. Select the skill you want to learn, and a link will be established.
I don't know if we'll be getting more immortal characters, but this definitely seems to imply that we'll be getting a lot more party members along the way.
It's a mixture in terms of, gameplay mechanic between the abilities of Final Fantasy IX and the junction system of 8. Yes, that also comes back with a vengeance, because you have the immortals leeching off a particular skill that the mortals learn. But,
skills, however, Teo, skills can also be learned from
that
accessories.
too.
Some accessories grant the user the effects of a skill simply by equipping them. And you also, as you can
that
see...
is like Final Fantasy VIII.
Well, actually, this is a bit more like Final Fantasy IX, actually.
Yeah, like I said, it's a mixture of the two.
Okay, so I'm curious though, like, is there a story reason as to why immortals are learning skills like that, or is that strictly gameplay stuff?
I'm pretty sure there's no story reason for this. This is just to make sure the gameplay is balanced and.
It's also for that otherwise if we had to go for story reason, Kaim and Seth should be already hyper level, and I don't mean what Pedro is showing.
Yeah, because remember I'm on a New Game Plus file, but the thing is,
I was mainly wondering if it's like story based in the sense that immortals, as a trade-off for being immortal, you can only learn skills by assimilating them off of others, mortal people.
Even if you're not doing a New Game Plus, the immortal characters aren't stronger than the mortal ones. So this is the game's way of giving them some kind of a con, so that they don't feel just like, okay, what's even the point of the mortal characters then if the immortal characters are so much more powerful?
That being said, the general tip is try to level up all your character equally, more or less, because you never know if you'll be stuck in a situation where you're forced to use specific party members.
In fact, here's an example. As your characters level up, they also increase their slots of abilities they can equip, or you can use a slot seat item to increase their slots up to a maximum of 30, like I just did.
I see. And by opening up more slots, you open up more move potential.
Basically. Alright, and yeah, skill link. I already got all three from Jensen.
It's a pretty highly customizable skill set, I'll give him credit.
Basically,
it's not
sorry.
Go on.
The basic idea is the more slots you have, the more skills you can equip. There's a shit ton of skills for everything: attacks, healing spells, abilities that do various things, all kinds of things. And again, much like what happens with Final Fantasy IX skill system, try your best to equip the best possible skills you can. However, there's no AP limitation here. Instead, it's just a matter of how many slots you have, which means you can equip a maximum of 30 abilities, basically.
Also, in other circumstances, you actually have to properly learn the skill, which requires a couple of battle experience.
Yeah.
At the very least. It does remind me a bit on how you get weapons with, weapons with abilities in Final Fantasy X. A bit. It's just that this is a bit more expanded.
Exactly. You have stuff like auto MP recovery, auto HP recovery, which are of course very useful. This is you have a shit ton of abilities, support abilities. Like the skills literally describe practically literally every move in the game. So.
And the icon tells you which kind of ability are, if they're active or passive.
Nifty.
That's the basic gist of
So, can any skill slots sort of give you a move on your menu, or are those already set essentially?
it. Now, the only stuff you can do in the battle menu is attack, defend, item. Well, and the skill, obviously. There's the skill stuff, but it doesn't open up a new command, if that's what you're asking.
So this is basically stuff that'll be attached to your basic attacks, I assume, like, possibility to steal.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing attacking will
Yes.
make you the one that they target using the taunt skill set, and so on and so forth.
In fact, Jensen already comes with the steal ability right from the beginning. So Jensen, aside from being a spellcaster, he's also a thief, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm surprised that there's not a story reason as to why immortal characters need to assimilate skills off of mortal
okay.
characters, because that sounds like something
Kaim and
with story
Seth would make sense considering they suffer from amnesia currently. So for the beginning of the game will make sense, but I can tell you, Jova, it's not really applicable on the long run.
So it's basically just a game.
The game director implemented this to keep the game balanced, basically.
It's kind of like with, like I said, another big comparison that I remember with this is in the first Tales of Destiny video game, in which a couple of the characters do possess for their weapons, a special weapon which is called a swordian, which is a sword that can talk. Levels up, separately alongside the characters, and those tend to have an innate, superiority a bit compared to the regular characters, but they do compensate by having, limited movesets, if I remember correctly. So
is there a trade-off, a benefit to using immortal characters rather than, obviously you have to use Kaim.
Like Pedro said, they're inherently more powerful, technically, and regular character can only learn a limited set of skills, but an immortal can leech off of anything they want.
Yep.
So the immortals are basically your more customizable ones, while the regular mortals, are the predetermined ones.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you make your own characters with the immortals.
Well, that's usually how a lot of these customizable RPGs usually work. But yeah. Well, that's the thing, Jova. Like, usually the way it works is you have your immortals in the front row and your mortals in the back row. Because the mortal characters in this game are usually spellcasters.
Of course.
So usually it's recommended to just keep. There's one particular mortal character who's a physical fighter, so he stays on the front row. But the others, usually you keep them on the back row because they're better there. So basically, the immortals will form your front row, which will consist of a lot of stuff that's physical in attack. We are later going to meet an immortal character that is herself a spellcaster. Sorry. So the immortals themselves will also potentially be applicable to put on the back row if you feel like it will serve a good purpose. As for equipment, nothing really here to say. You can equip a weapon, an enhancement, and if you have the right abilities, up to 3 accessories.
Also, that being said, the overabundance of accessories and the fact that each of them have very specific abilities, even for the more minutiae stuff, that's apparently a remnant from the Shadow Hearts game. Like I said, a lot of the people who worked on this game, developed those in the past for the PS2, so it's not too surprising.
Yep. And that's basically it. Here are the spell book that you have. And yeah, that's basically it. Alright, let's go.
And off we go on our grand adventure.
Also, that being said, I don't think this game had separate difficulties like Blue Dragon.
No, this game only has one difficulty and that's it.
Oh, well, this is quite rare, running into travelers in a place like this. If you're going on a journey, then you sure lucked out running into me. I've just got some new wares in stock, so take a look at it for what it's worth. Beyond the Great Gate is a dangerous region infested with monsters. You'd best be prepared if you're traveling there. From equipment to medicine, I've got everything you need.
Yeah, typical. Like, before you go into the world map, make sure to do some final purchases to prepare yourself and shit.
The monsters are getting a bit more rampant lately.
Yep, obviously.
Well, in this case, considering also the usage of grand stuff, it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How about that guy literally drives a car into town just in time to catch us?
It's like grabbing an MGS4.
Beautiful.
Maybe Kaim also has some kind of trackable nanomachines inside him. Who knows?
Sure.
I mean, given how immortal he is, maybe he got those at some point along the journey.
Yeah.
God, imagine if the twist is that the immortals are actually from a time when it was modern, but now we're in a post-apocalyptic setting.
I mean, Blue Dragon did had, a previous civilization that did collapse, eventually, and, the present in the game are the people who rose afterward.
And hey, what if it's like near?
Go ahead, Joe.
When you see the geography in this game, you will see that this doesn't really resemble Earth.
I run a small and humble shop now and about here, so I'll make sure to find you at certain points.
Okay, then.
Well, I guess that's our reasoning for him showing up everywhere.
Basically, yeah. And yes, by increasing...
That enough medicine for you, Seth? Jesus.
It's for
Just
the...
imagine her downing all those pills.
After increasing all of her HP and MP like I just did, she was just now a bit... That's okay. I have plenty of money, so let's buy a crap ton of them. Again.
So healing medicine raises max HP stats, I see.
Well, healing medicine is literally the potion of this game. It's just not called potion.
Remember, Joe, what happened was that when you equipped the accessories, those boosted the maximum HPs.
Yeah, that's what it looked like was happening.
Alright. So the world map works on Final Fantasy X logic. You just pick your location off a list.
Nice.
I wish it wasn't. Like, again, Blue Dragon had a better showcase of having a proper world map to traverse.
I guess, okay, I'll say this. As long as there's fast travel, there is nothing wrong with having the entire thing be connected by level traversal.
Again, this is also instead taken more similarly to Legend of Dragoon. Which, again, the developers also worked on this.
And you even get to see a sneak peek of how the area looks like.
Look at those beautiful green rolling plains and
Ypsilon Mountains.
gray sky.
Quick, easy, Bug. I just gotta follow him. This is like a death march.
Hey, we gotta get through that? There's no road.
Pull yourself together. If this is all it takes to wear you out, we're in trouble.
How long have they been
Once we
walking?
get through here,
I don't
there's
want-
the Ypsilon Range. Those mountains are steep and rugged. The weather is unpredictable.
That's probably why
And
they
since
couldn't
the
bring a
ground is
carriage, I
unstable, you have to
guess.
be on the lookout
Remember,
for
Webb's
wildlife.
the actor was told to improvise, was allowed to improvise. So for all we know, that line was just him. He really wanted to make Jensen horny.
Lord Gungora was saying you have a problem with...
God, imagine
right?
that, and
I mean,
that's
you
the
sure
reason
know
they
these mountains
animated
well
in that
enough.
scene with the
And of course, you
girls.
shave your legs every day,
Well,
you pluck your
okay.
eyebrows, and you owe me money, so...
I got mentioned after the
I'm
cutscene.
confused. You sure you really don't remember...
My
Shut
body
up, Jensen.
remembers.
What?
There was a time when I used to rush through here. I was a pirate, and supposedly I also went through these mountains.
Like
I just don't
pirates
know what
do,
the
of
truth
course.
I don't have any answers.
Wait
We'll
a
learn
minute.
all to deal with Seth also soon enough, Joe.
Well, what about you?
Hold on,
anyone
amnesia
tell you what you
pirate
went through?
girl. Tails?
No. Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, since you're so upbeat and happy, I doubt if anyone will remember you.
Fine with me.
Oh, sure.
Jesus Christ.
My body also remembers.
How so?
Just that it was painful. If I happen to remember, and my past didn't amount to much,
I get that
I
it's
think
to
it's
show what
probably
other
better to
players are
have never
feeling,
remembered.
but I don't know. That box in, box
that's
out
smart.
thing feels a bit silly at times.
Time. There's no need to rush it. Your memories will come back gradually. And they're not all bad.
What? No breaks?
You just had one.
Yeah, I was about to
How about
say,
some water?
shut up,
A
Jensen.
little
Move.
How about a foot massage? My feet don't stink. Kaim, you up for that? Hello?
Yeah, that was definitely. I get the idea of what happened to Giovanni's event. They gave, the voice actor a general guideline of how the scene is supposed to actually perform. Saying this is what are the plot points, the important parts that I have to mention. Then they let him improvise, and then they modeled the mocap after that.
Yep, probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They operated. It's quite a lot how they handled the genie in Aladdin. where Robin Williams improvised so much, and Eric Goldberg even looked at the recorded footage of his voice recording sessions as to inspire himself for how to animate the genie. So
also, that portrait art for Jensen, that's got driver's license syndrome written all over it.
I did mention about we did mention about the mangaka that did the art style of this, and I did mention one of his most recent work, Vagabond, but he's also famous for working on Shonen Jump for a sports series. You might have heard of it. It's called Slam Dunk. It's a basketball series, but that one is more cartoonish looking, and the character spaces are a bit more exaggerated. So again, sometimes he tries to strive a bit of a balance.
Well, kudos to him for not sticking to just one lane. I've heard good things about the Slam Dunk anime. That is a cool-looking sword.
Yeah, that's the thing about the whole, being a new game plus thing is that they really showcase.
Hey, look, the enemy's got a little formation going. In a formation, the front row provides a defensive wall for the back row, so any damage inflicted on the enemy's back row is reduced. Everybody got that?
Good.
I love how he suddenly sounds formal. I mean, I get it probably because, that's not recorded voice stuff, but assuming that was Jensen speaking and not just like the narrator, essentially.
Yep.
Suddenly become...
You can see how tight the front row's defense is with this. Notice in the top left corner, guard condition. The gauge on the upper left-hand corner of the screen indicates the enemy's guard condition. The gauge on the upper right indicates allies' guard condition.
Interesting battle music.
Yeah, it's the regular battle theme. We hear that in the first
Guard
part.
condition is made up of the total HP of the front row. By attacking the enemies in the front row, you can reduce their guard condition. Easy enough, right? This is another reason why it's a good idea to put the immortals in the front row, because they have higher stats, including HP. And it's an example of bad. Yeah. Hey, that's not bad at all, even though the game said bad. See how the guard condition has gone down?
Yeah, it kind of got reduced immediately because of yeah.
The higher the guard condition, the less damage you can cause to the enemies in the back row. When the guard condition reaches 0, any damage inflicted will no longer be reduced.
The thing is that goes also for you, the player.
I'll be in the back, so guard me well, alright? Alright.
So basically, again, try to lower the enemy gauge, try to prevent your own to be lowered.
What this basically amounts to is just damage the enemies as much as possible, really. It's not really that complicated.
And again, unfortunately, because again, Pedro is using New Game Plus, so that means having, high-level stats and endgame weapon, which means most of the stuff here is gonna be one-shotted, which, is a bit of a shame because the boss theme is just that good.
Alas. Also, it would be cool to get to see the weapon progression, too.
If you manage to cause enough interference, you can even keep the spell from popping up. So again, typical, like when an enemy is spell casting, hit them to stop their spell cast. Again, typical stuff. We've seen this sometimes before. Well, enough talk, I'd say. Let's take care of this rabble. There's an example of a good one. There you go.
Also, I see it's about a case where I guess certain classes of characters get, like, the same weapons. Like, no one really gets, like, a weapon specific to themselves.
Spells can be bought in stores or learned by raising your level. Merely acquiring a spell does not mean you can use it, though.
Can you actually be cheeky and have, like, a wizard-type character use, like, a sword?
Well, Joe, but like we just said, the weapon... Like, you asked me this question, right a second ago about the weapon type.
The best you can...
You could be cheeky about that.
The best you can do is have one of the specific immortals who happens to be a spellcaster. You can put physical-based skills on her, I guess, from the other characters. It wouldn't do you much good, though. The alphabet letters represent the casting within the one turn. S is the fastest, so basically... make sure to take a look in the spell book. How many turns of casting does each spell take, basically. All right, let's continue for the mountains. Do.
So can you ever swap who's the one leading, or is it pretty much, always like, Kaim or whoever's the party leader who you're playing as in the overworld?
I don't think there's a party leader option. Not that I mean, I haven't bothered experimenting just like with the I've changed the formation. Like, I'm pretty sure this operates on the old school mentality of just having Kaim be the one on the field, probably. But I haven't actually experimented much with it.
That being said, also these little guys tend to be a sort of a, you know how the pool monsters tend to be a sort of a flagship type of monster in Blue Dragon. Basically, these are the same thing for this game, kinda.
Also, Tail, there's actually going to be quite a lot of boss battles in this game that are scripted in specific ways. So even with higher stats, you can't just injure immediately because of the specific scripted events that happened. So you'll still get to hear a good amount of the boss game anyway.
Well, we'll have to see, I suppose.
And yeah, the all-hit skill takes 2 turns to execute, so let's continue.
Again, it's also pretty cool the way the camera pans over your party members by taking each decision.
Reminds me of like what Fossil Fighters does, essentially, while you're waiting for each member to take their turn.
Also, props also to the sound design, because some of the weapons tend to have, okay, not necessarily a punch to them, but they can clearly try to convey a bit more the sound effect of, say, Jensen's staff hitting the ground. It couldn't just have been very soft, but no, it produces a proper metallic twang on it. It's really actually rewarding in listening to an extent. Pretty cool.
But yeah, one thing that I will actually have to say as well, to add to what Tay was saying earlier, is because they did remove the world map. Again, I'm not too bad with. I can handle the lack of a world map. For me, it's the return to random encounters that because when you're, again, as usual, when you're trying to just explore a dungeon and try to solve the puzzles, and you're in the middle of solving a puzzle and trying to figure out something, and then a battle level every 2 seconds, and it just becomes annoying when you just want to explore. If this game were to ever get at some kind of a remaster, some kind of quality of life improvement to turn off the random encounters, Brave with the Fault style, would have been a nice option, I think, because it can, again, much like with Final Fantasy IX and stuff like that, like it can be annoying when you just want to explore the dungeon to solve the puzzles, and you get a battle every 2 seconds,
Interesting. You say that they removed the world map. Was there originally supposed to be one in?
No, I'm saying in comparison to Blue Dragon, the game that they made right before this, remember? Because Blue Dragon had a world map. It's a shame. And Blue Dragon used the Chrono Trigger method of having the monsters in the field, and you only battle them if you touch them, right? But for this game, they went back to random encounters, which, again, feels like a step backwards, but whatever.
So it was literally just these 2 games. I guess when there was a third game they also did.
Yeah, so they made Last Story, but Last Story was made for the Wii with Nintendo. They didn't make this they didn't make that one with Microsoft.
Remember, Jova, that was part of the trinity of the Operation Rainfall, of the initiative.
Exactly.
Xenoblade was the one that got the most popular of it. The Last Story was kind of the one in the middle. Pandora's Tower is the game that nobody remembers anymore.
That's what Mistwalker is up to these days.
They recently made Fantasia, but it's an Apple Arcade exclusive.
We're recording this before the June Nintendo Direct. There is speculation that is actually potentially when we're gonna hear about a console port. But
someone found something about Fantasia in the Steam database as well.
Again, it's worth it because again the presentation of that is pretty cool. It's represented with a paper diorama style.
And we found ourselves a house, conveniently for resting purposes.
I mean, Mountain Path, it makes sense to have a place of restoration.
I want to ask a favor. I'm just going to ask this once, okay? Will you listen?
No.
All right already. What do you want?
This is the start of a budding friendship.
Whining, okay. Is that all you can say? Can't we just rest in that hut over there?
All you do is complain, complain, complain.
I'm not like you two. I'm a normal human being.
I mean, that is true. Unlike me, unlike you two, I get tired, okay?
Let's rest.
Thank you.
That pulls.
Goodness gracious, what a character.
Alright.
So being an immortal, like, I get the whole not dying thing, but I guess this is a version of immortality where you can't get tired or fatigued.
Probably.
Okay, it kind of flip-flops because gameplay-wise, of course, you can still get KO'd. And there will be points in the story where the immortals do genuinely feel in danger in some capacity. It's not the same fragility that, say, the elves of Tolkien stories tend to have, where it's just, eternal youth. There is a degree of immortality sustaining from injuries as showcased at the very beginning of the game, but it's not, think of it like Deadpool, Jova, basically. Maybe there's a rule if they get decapitated, but that potentially also is not valid anyway, and it's just complete immortality.
Basically.
And like you said, there'll be something to include stakes, since, otherwise, I mean, I get it, gameplay-wise you can lose, but otherwise you have to wonder, how do you lose if you get KO'd? Since
Again, when it comes to this situation, you have to think, well, okay, first the dialogue.
Hey, there's a bed here. Let's stay here.
Yeah, the place is
No,
actually strangely uninhabited.
did we ever go over who's voicing Seth?
You.
Pedro, oh.
Tara Strong.
Well,
Oh, sorry,
well,
I got confused. No, I got confused with Jensen. That's my bad. Sorry.
Right, so Pedro's doing both Seth and Jensen?
No, you're doing Seth. I'm doing Jensen.
Okay.
Teos Kaim.
What disturbs your sleep? Oh.
Alright, this is important, so let's check it out.
It's a pebble.
Listen, if either Kaim or Seth seem like they're starting to regain even a fragment of their memories, use this.
A black pill of doom.
What is it?
That's not suspicious at all.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Couldn't sleep. I'm usually exercising, sparring with people, and I work out a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry. These line divides, it really makes it feel like they're trying to make this a shonen manga or sometimes a comedy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be a emulate a manga panels, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's having a nightmare, isn't he?
Poor sod.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess we'll get back to that. Gotta go fast.
Which actually makes me wonder, do they still need to at least sleep?
It seems like it. I mean, Kaim was sleeping just now. And
Same goes for eating.
And like we've already established, they do dream. But here's my guess. They
Well,
eat.
I should point out, sometimes immortal beings will sleep, eat, and drink just for, like, the fun of it or to feel human. Like, I'm wondering if they require it, though, in this regard.
I get the idea it was more of a case where, they could have gone for a couple of more days without needing to rest, but eventually they would have to.
And you'll be peeling off the clothes. Trust me. Oh, great. It's raining. What'd I say?
You tell me this game is set in Britain.
Yeah, truly, these are the high.
Yes, because as we all know, Britain is the only place in the world where it rains, right?
When it rains, it pours.
Anyway,
It rains most often round here.
Anyway, meanwhile at the castle hall. And there's the former prince.
You're supposed to serve it to me in the red glass on Monday.
No, you see, Jova, he got this from the Last Supper. Jesus wasn't using it anymore, and he said Tolten could have it.
Sure, why not? Let me guess. Prince who wants to regain the lost glory.
No, actually, he's actually okay with the establishment of the... Oh.
Please wait. Pardon the intrusion.
What the heck?
Gongora, what are you doing? A moment, please.
Oh, cute mouse. Look at him.
What is going on, Gongora? Answer me. The council has placed you under house arrest.
Talk to the hand. Oh no! Oh.
Poisoned. Whoa!
Jesus Christ!
Oh, apparently it's Ouroboros from Resident Evil 5. What?
Gongora, what is the meaning of this?
There are those who do not wish the monarchy restored to power.
But I do not wish it to be restored to power.
With all due respect, while some fools completely support our current republic, there are also those who long to restore a powerful monarchy.
Which could totally grant me a puppet monarch that I can manipulate. I mean, the rightful ruler.
Present.
Come on, Drova, why do you say that? Look at those two eyebrows.
And that totally not evil stare he gave Jensen earlier.
Magic energy. Even though I am under house arrest, I could not allow it to be harmed.
You noble, heroic soul.
See, how could you possibly think he's the bad guy?
I saved your life.
Just one question. How did you know the soup that you pretty much had no way of knowing about was somehow poisoned?
I can look after myself.
I, however,
If it wasn't for me, you would have been turned into a plant just like that rat.
I would have ended up like that mouse.
Oh, mouse.
You can always rely on me, Your Highness.
Oh my god.
Thank you, Gongora. Thank you.
Truly
Again!
a trustworthy fellow.
The man who conveniently showed up to smack your soup out, which he had no way of knowing about, and just knew to set the mouse on fire.
Well, he did say that he got a prediction through his magical... But yeah, he's lying, obviously.
Yeah. Like, the game is not even trying to hide.
I'll be in touch when the time comes.
By the way, work on your fainting skills. That was almost too unsubtle.
I like to remember, this was a few years before Metal Gear Rising. So the eat-eating greens was not as popular back then.
Oh, wow. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this guy, guys.
Nah.
No.
Drova,
I don't know.
stop having prejudice.
Yeah, you know, the evil goatee and the evil smile. Maybe he just doesn't communicate.
And the fact that apparently he and that maid are apparently in cahoots with each other about something, that he even paid her for something. I wonder.
No. Clearly he's doing it because he's the good guy. We just don't understand him.
Yes, like there's a context you're not seeing. Trust me, there is. Anyway, see you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.
Yeah.